Okay. Hi, everyone. All right. It's going to be, just a heads up, it's going to be a little bit shorter than what we've been doing this stream. Obviously, the stream's starting at 10:30 p.m. Central Time, so it is much later than our previous stream. So we will probably be keeping it shorter just due to how late it is. It is the middle of a week here. But I appreciate everyone tuning in to this post-game stream. Fourth preseason game for the Bulls is officially done here. I don't know what we really want to kind of label this one as. I mean, arguably, I think this is probably the most disappointing game, honestly, but it is preseason at the end of the day. But, I mean, there's still some stuff we really got to address in this one that is just frustrating the absolute crap out of me. But with that being said, though, there's always good stuff. I think this is probably Giddey's just like this. This to me, I want like if there's out of all these preseason games, like this to me is what I want to see from Giddey more. And this is exactly what we got. Of like, all right, he's shooting a 3-ball because he's open, driving. So there's a lot of positives there. Buzal's continues to look good even with all the Bulls struggles, and Desuma continues to go to the cup and finish, which is great. Bulls were missing a lot of people tonight. We got to talk about some of these people missing because clearly it's affecting this Bulls offense, and unfortunately the people missing, I don't know if they're really going to be affecting the Bulls defense, but the Bulls defense is atrocious right now. We got to discuss some things. We're also going to discuss, man, that let's just say that if I was coaching the Bulls, there's going to be a lot of different decisions going on right now versus what we're seeing right now in the starting lineup, in the rotations. Again, I know there's a lot of people missing today, but there would have been there's just a lot of things going on that I'm not happy with some of the plays from some people in the starting unit. We will discuss this in this stream, but before we get into it, I'll make sure to like button on the stream. Helps me out a lot. I sincerely appreciate all the likes on the previous streams. It's been a lot of support, so I sincerely do appreciate it. So thank you guys so much for hitting the like button. If you're new to the channel, like Bulls content, please subscribe. I sincerely appreciate all the support with all the Bulls coverage this season. I'll also be linking in the chat right now my most recent article for On Tap Sportsnet. So if you want to go ahead and read my most recent article for On Tap Sportsnet and working with the Bulls on Tap crew, link is going to be in the chat here, and it'll also be pinned. So if you have not checked it out, please go ahead and do so. I sincerely appreciate everyone reading that article, as it took a lot of time and effort to do it. So any feedback is welcome. I accidentally pinned Charles's message. I will talk about Charles's message in the chat already. Just give me a second. I want to pin the correct message here. All right. So the score does not really show the entire story for this one. There's a lot that was not good for the Bulls in this game. Why is it doing this? Like that should not be pinning Charles's. Hold on. That's. Oh, not crap. I just deleted Charles's message. I didn't mean to. Sorry. Hold on. We're gonna replace this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Sorry, Charles. I accidentally just deleted your message. If you're still here, that's my bad. All right. We're gonna talk about this game because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the Bulls' defensive side. Okay, so like I said, the score does not really indicate how this game went. I know it's like single digits. The Bulls were down by like 20 or like 18 for most of this game. And it's just, I understand Kobe's out. And yes, Herter's out, Julian Phillips is out, no Trey Jones. And like I think Trey Jones missing was very crucial tonight. But I think the biggest issue for me is just that this Denver Nuggets team is not going at 100%, and the Bulls were down easily in this one. And it's just because the lack of defense on this squad. There were definitely some bad turnovers by the Bulls tonight. The Bulls had 18 turnovers. They had, I believe it was 6 or 7 in the first quarter. I'll double check. But they had 10 at halftime, which is not good. And, you know, I understand these turnovers are going to happen with how fast the Bulls play. There are definitely some avoidable turnovers. But But the defense in this game, man, I talked about in my last stream how much I was not happy with the defense against that Milwaukee game because I was going to focus on defense in that game. And, I don't know if I should be expecting anything different in this one, but I would argue the defense looked worse tonight. And it's really frustrating just to see this because I think we're messing up simple things that should not be getting messed up this late in the preseason. If this was game 1 of preseason, then I'm like, all right, this is fine. But it's really bothersome to me when I'm seeing that the Bulls can't execute a simple switch on defense when they were executing it better against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first game of preseason, and that's the first game of preseason, man. Like that's the problem that I have with this is we're making more mistakes now, in my opinion, than we were doing in the first preseason game, and I feel like it's just so inexcusable at this point of preseason right now. Bulls have one more preseason game, and I guess I'm just gonna have no expectations for that one when it comes to the defense. But this is the team that came into media day, front office and coaching staff that said physicality, and then Billy Donovan went on a long, media press conference during one of the early practices of training camp and talked about how much the Bulls have to be better defensively and started to even kind of pick out individual players that he thinks should be better defensively this season, and we just haven't gotten any of it. We've had articles. Did I change my mic? Oh, let's see. I did. Sorry. Actually, I didn't mean. Wait, what? Oh. Hold on. Thank you, Viper Strike. Hold on. Maybe my mic settings changed. I'm seeing that it's picking up background noise when it shouldn't. Oh. Thank you, Viper Strike. My mic volume and my Windows settings went all the way up to 100%. That's not where it should be, and that's why it sounded so bad. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's go back to where it should be, and now we're back. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's better. Thank you. You just saved the stream, honestly. I did not check that, and I sincerely apologize. Thank you for legitimately saving the stream. That's much better. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. That's my bad. I didn't check it before stream. It shouldn't change, but for some reason it did change. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, my mic volume was at 100%. It's usually way down, so my bad. Everyone at Viper Strike, a thumbs up or something for saving the stream today, because I was not going to check that at any point, so thank you so much for that. Sorry, I'm adjusting filters. Give me 1 second here. Does the audio and the video look good? It should. I should be synced, right? It's not out of sync or anything. You good? All right, good. Thank you. Okay, cool. Let's get back to it. Thank you, Viper Strike, for that. All right, stream is officially saved, and we're not gonna be peaking consistently. Thank you. All right, yeah, back to it though. Like I was saying, I'm disappointed with this defense right now. Donovan has been adamant about that the defense is going to be better this season, that the Bulls have to be better on that end. Calling out individual players for saying that they need to get better individually on defense and not allow so many blow-bys, be better in the pick-and-roll defense. And to be clear, he's not talking about Vucevic, okay? I know a lot of Bulls fans are saying, well, the defense sucks because we have no rim protection. And yeah, I am aware that, yeah, the defense does suck because, yeah, there is a lack of rim protection right now on this Bulls squad. However, Vucevic cannot control if the Bulls are going to be playing good perimeter defense, okay? That Vucevic is not in charge of, do these guys switch if they play similar positions, okay? If there's a guard pick or something, back screen, whatever you want to, like, anything happens when there's two guards, you know, doing an action and you're supposed to switch that action, that's not Vucevic's fault. That's those guys' fault. That's on the perimeter defenders. It is on the perimeter defenders to actively communicate and switch effectively. It is also on the perimeter defenders to fight through screens to make sure that the pick and roll defensive coverage is not completely busted, okay? It is also then on the perimeter defenders to not get back cut That's not on Vooch, right? It's on all these perimeter defenders to be better, to make sure that, oh, we're not going to get back cut in this sort of situation. Or if there's a rip screen, we don't give up an alley-oop attempt to Aaron Gordon, okay? There's all these things that need to happen that is on the perimeter guys, and it's nothing to do with Vooch, okay? Vooch does not help. I'm not saying he, like, oh, like, we're not going to blame Vooch something. No, Vooch's lack of defense is definitely bad, okay? But we can't be blaming the entire terrible defense on this one player that we already know is bad defensively, okay? Donovan's already stated that the Bulls have to be better as a unit defensively because they don't have a rim protector or a Rudy Gobert or a defensive player of the year in the back, right? And we have seen right now through, at least in my opinion, most of these preseason games, that the physicality and the defensive level is not there for the Bulls. It is not where it should be. It needs to get better if this team's going to be at any point better defensively right now. I think they look honestly worse than they did last season at the start of last season. So there needs to be quite the adjustment early on here, whether it's before this next preseason game or before the home opener, or opening day for us against the Pistons. Like, I'm worried right now that, like, we're gonna absolutely, like, get wrecked by the Pistons on opening night. And all of a sudden, you know, a lot of people that have this Bulls team somehow getting 45 wins are going to be, then we got to rethink things. So, look, the defense just, I'm not asking for anything spectacular. I'm not asking for anything great. I'm just asking for better effort and do the simple things correctly, and the Bulls aren't doing that right now. And it's really frustrating to watch because I want to see some level of defense from this squad to give me more hope for the future. Like, Buzelis, for example, tonight, he had 5 blocks. But he also had a lot of defensive issues on the perimeter tonight, and it's just because the fact that he wasn't switching properly. So as much as I want to believe in Buzelis and being like, yeah, he's going to be a great defensive player on that end of the floor, or a good defensive player, he's got to show me that he can do more than just blocks consistently every single night. So look, I'm not here to say, oh, I don't think Buzelis is going to be good defensively anymore, but I got to see this consistently throughout the years for me to be like, okay, now we know that this guy is good defensively or this guy's not good defensively. And if you're not communicating on switches, then we're off to a terrible start. This just cannot happen. So we'll go over some of those plays later in the stream here. Offense tonight, it was definitely not pretty. There's definitely some moments where the 2-3 zone from the Nuggets was killing the Bulls. The Bulls seem to not really know what to do. Definitely a lot less flow within the offense tonight compared to that Milwaukee Bucks game. A lot of it was due to the turnovers. Some were definitely by the Bulls, but you're also facing a better defensive team in the Denver Nuggets compared to the Milwaukee Bucks, and we saw that tonight, hence all the turnovers the Bulls had. So, you know, I know a lot of Bulls fans were really happy with the lack of turnovers in Game 3 of preseason against the Bucks, but it reverted back tonight when we face a better defensive squad. So the Bulls have a lot to work on when it comes to their ball security and decision-making, to lower this turnover number moving forward here. So that's part of the reason why the offense seems so janky tonight. But other parts of the reason why I think the Denver Nuggets were just kind of like, all right, we're going to pretty much just play a nice coverage against a lot of these guys and just basically beg them to score. And this is where I'm going to give Giddey a lot of credit, because I think there were a lot of actions tonight where the Denver Nuggets were just kind of like, all right, we're just going to switch this and just like beg Giddey to score it. And he went out and scored it tonight. That's what we need to see from him. Honestly, I would much rather see Giddey score 25 a night than have him get, 12 assists every night. So this is good. So I think that this is probably I know some people are going to look at the previous game as Giddey's best game, but to me, this is Giddey's best game. He went out and actually was able to get some individual scoring efforts where the defense was begging him to isolate, and he was able to get to the cup and either draw some contact and get the foul, or go ahead and finish over guys like Bruce Brown, who are obviously smaller than him. So that's what we need to see from Giddey, at least in my opinion. This is the sort of stuff that I need to see from him more and more. I know it's not like in his nature, but to me, it has to get drilled into him, because this is the only way, at least in my opinion, he's going to become a consistent, good ball handler for this team moving forward. Because the Nuggets were pretty much taking away the passing opportunities for him. They were switching a lot, and they're like, all right, yeah, no pick and roll for you. To go ahead and like launch it back out to Vooch at the perimeter, or go ahead and pass to someone on the roll. Switching allows that helps prevent the defense from having to rotate, so you can't really find anybody. like spraying out to open 3-point shooters. So it's going to be on him to score, and he went out and did that tonight. So props to him. I appreciate that this is the scoring effort I want to see more consistently from him. We'll see if we get it. That's just going to have to be something we need to see consistently moving forward. So happy to see this from Giddey. I'm also really happy with Buzelis continuing to just look really good. Buzelis just continues just to impress me with his offensive ability. Some turnovers tonight, but I can live with it. He had one of his turnovers tonight was a rip through move where he rejected the pick and roll, and he was about to do that little cradle move with the over the top swing move with his arm to get to the rim, but he lost control of it. I can live with that. You know, that's him creating an advantage where he clearly had to step over his defender, and his defender was caught off guard by the quick move, and he just happened to lose it. So those sort of things I can live with when it comes to Buzelis. Let him have the on-ball opportunities, and if he turns it over, he's learning. But he's just continuing to really impress me. I also like the fact that he is just very adamant on shooting the three-point shot when it's possible. He was launching those 3-point shots tonight, and I'm like, all right, yeah, this is great. 3 for 7 tonight from him, so another 20-point effort from him in preseason. 30 minutes tonight as well, so Donovan was clearly playing a lot of guys, and we have a lot of guys out, but we're going to be playing the starters a good amount of minutes, and I'm glad that he did so. So Buzelis, man, I think that with this effort tonight against this Denver Nuggets squad that has like an Aaron Gordon guarding him, this is good. Like I think that I'm officially ready to go ahead and say that for the start of the regular season, that Buzelis is going to have to get a lot of on-ball scoring opportunities. Put the ball in his hands and just let him learn. Let him get as many opportunities as possible, because if he's able to go out and consistently score, then the double teams start getting thrown at him. Then, you know, the blitz coverages get thrown at him. And so I want him to get those sort of coverages now so that he can take this season to learn from it and learn how to adjust to those coverages. When does he see a double team? When is, you know, when he thinks he has an ISO opportunity and the defense starts shading over to him, then how does he take advantage of that and try to spray it out to someone else on the weak side? Like, those are things that I really want to see from Buzelis, you know, this season, if he's going to have the ball in his hands. And I think that the Bulls should just give him the ball, especially early on. We got an update from about Kobe White that we'll talk about in a little bit here, but it really seems like that, at least for what we know, heading into the opening night, that Buzelis is probably going to have to be a secondary ball handler a good portion of the time, because Kobe White's going to, if he is playing, he's going to be on a minutes restriction. So I want to see it. I want to see this guy get as many on-ball opportunities as possible, because I don't really see a reason why not to at this point. He's impressed the absolute hell out of me in this preseason, and so just give him the keys and just let's see what happens. He's done a great job, so I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. He's finishing well. We'll see what happens in the last game here, but I think I'm already ready to say just give him the ball and let's see what happens. That'll be fun to watch. Dosunmu mostly did all of his stuff in the first half tonight. Then the defense started to, well, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but they started to blitz Dosunmu at times because they were so afraid of him attacking off the dribble. But I mean, he could just continue just to get to the rack and score, which is great. Like, this is the IO we need to see moving forward, and he just continues to look great. So Casey Johnson called him the best player in preseason so far for the Bulls. I don't know if I'd say that, even with his great performance in the last game, but I definitely think he's been one of the best. He's probably the second best, arguably. So really good job from him. That's the positives. So I went through Giddey, I went through Buzelis, I went through Ayo. Okay, those are the 3 positives, which honestly, it kind of just seems like Buzelis and Ayo are always gonna be the positives when it comes to this Bulls squad. But we're gonna have to talk about some negatives here. The thing about Giddey is that I'm never gonna ask him to tween and hezzy his way into a tough basket. I just want him to get the easy baskets and open shots, which obviously we saw early on when the Nuggets, the first pick and roll that the Bulls ran today with Giddey, they were under the screen, right? And so immediately I'm looking at that, I'm like, he has to either just shoot the pull-up or he's going to have to make some threes to keep the defense honest. And so what does he do? He hits 3 threes in that first quarter, right? And they're lightly contested and some not even contested, right? He has to go and shoot those, and I appreciate him shooting them. So like, that was really good to see. He needs to just continue shooting them. He missed all of his threes in the second half, but I honestly appreciate, like, he took a pull-up 3 in that second half off a pick and roll where the Nuggets just completely disregarded him. I'm like, he missed it, but like I needed to see him shoot those. Like, and I'm happy he shot it. This is the time to shoot it if he's uncomfortable with it, and I just need to see more of it. So, like I said, I would much rather him do this than give me 12 assists every night. If he can give me 25 points every night, I would much rather have that than give me 12 assists every night. Just look to score. Like, he needs to look to score with the ball, and I'm happy that he did so tonight against a pretty tough defense. So this is good. I'm really pleased with what he did today. Looks like we might have discovered what might be the strength of Noah Sanga, which is putbacks, getting points off offensive rebounds. Oh, I mean, Christopher Parker, I think we've already kind of known that's his strength. Like, that's something that when I kind of was looking at him, like, I could tell that was going to be like a good, maybe not like, I don't know if I'd call it like an area where he excels at, but I think that was something that I was looking at him to have some effect or impact in the NBA. But for sure, I mean, I think that the good news that what we saw from all these preseason games so far is that Asenge has been crashing the offensive glass, and that needs to continue. So I'm happy to see that with his length and his athleticism, he should absolutely be crashing it. And like even on shots that just go in, I see him still crashing the boards, which is good. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I know today was probably pretty disappointing overall, and I think this is overall not what I wanted from him. Like, he picked up, I think, 4 fouls, and he did kind of disappear at a few moments in this game, but we saw it earlier on, actually, in the first half, where he was still crashing the boards. He picked up a loose ball foul off of which I'll take. Defensively, he looked pretty good in that first half. It didn't look great in the second half, honestly, but yeah, this is definitely an area where I think that he should be looking to have some impact, and we'll take any offensive rebound. Bulls lacked offensive rebounding last season, but him offensive rebounding for sure will be, I think, a strength in his game. And it's because of his length and athleticism, but it's also because of his feel. He has a good feel of when he should be crashing the boards because he thinks he has an angle. If he has a guy that's smaller on him, if he thinks that he's able to like time it right and get good positioning, like you see him look to get these offensive boards, and I appreciate it a lot. So like that needs to continue for sure. As we go into the regular season and as he goes into probably the G League a little bit. But yeah, so an area I'm definitely looking at for him where I'm like, yeah, this is good. Keep doing that, keep getting those hustle points, and it'll be continuing to be good impact for him moving forward. But yeah, for sure, something I'm happy with. All right. I'm sorry, we gotta talk about the negatives. I'm really sorry, and I hate doing individual negative stuff in the preseason like so heavily, but like we gotta do it. Okay. I'm gonna be interested to see what happens next game, because Isaac Okoro in these last 3 games has been really disappointing for me. Tonight is obviously the worst of all the performances, and I hate that we have to talk about it this early, and I get that it's preseason, but like, I think that there is still importance of preseason. Like, I'm not expecting you to go out and be like amazing in preseason, but I expect you to at least show some value in preseason and show a little bit of what you can do on a consistent basis. Okay. Like for example, Gideon, that first game, he only had 3 points. It was like really disappointing. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's going to continue, then I think we'd all be a little bit concerned right now. Right. Obviously that has not continued for Gideon. He's looked a lot better, especially in this one. So we're all feeling a lot better about him. Okoro, though, after that first game, he had a pretty good first game, and then since then, it has been really disappointing from him. A lot of missed shots at the rim. Like, we're talking about him getting some cuts to the rim, and he's not finishing them. He missed 2 layups today that he absolutely should have finished. He then also, he missed 1 layup today, I guess, that I thought he should have finished, but the other was a foul that he missed both free throws on. He then missed a 3. And he picked up 4 fouls tonight, and he's guarding Jamal Murray tonight. And I'm just like, I know Murray's a good player, man, but like you're guarding Jamal Murray and you're picking up 4 fouls in 9 minutes tonight. He did not play in the second half. We don't really know why still. I hope he's doing okay. Like I hope he's not injured or anything, but he just didn't play in the second half for whatever reason. But I tweeted out in the middle of this game that I'm just like, if this continues from Okoro, man, I I just don't really know why he needs to start or why we really even need to play him at all. I hate saying it this early, but we're already seeing where I was already kind of concerned about him. He doesn't really have a consistent 3-point shot. I'm aware of the percentages, but he doesn't shoot enough. He doesn't have any ability to score on the offensive end that includes any sort of shot creation. It's all set up from his teammates. Defensively, people have talked about that, like, this guy is incredible defensively, and I definitely think we saw, especially when he was playing the Cavs, that we saw some good defensive value out of him. But he's not a guy that I've been adamant of saying, like, he's not a playmaker defensively where he's going to be able to get the steals and the blocks consistently. And then we see in nights like tonight where I feel like that he's fouling way too much, and he's not bringing any defensive value tonight when he's guarding a guy that is pretty hard to guard on the perimeter. I'm like, I don't really see what the point is. Like, he doesn't really offensive rebound either. He hasn't really been a rebounder in his career. So unless he's going to be starting to be able to shoot better or finish better at the rim or show that defensively that he can not foul consistently, then I'm here sitting here. I'm just like, I don't know why we're playing him. I don't get it. I don't really see the reason why, because I have Noah Sengue right now, who, yeah, I don't think Sengue was really that much better tonight, but he's an 18-year-old, lottery pick prospect that I look at as the future of this Bulls squad. And we got a guy in Isaac Okoro who's entering his 6th season in the NBA, and I already kind of know what he is. Like, he's already 25. Like, I don't really think there's much else to him. So I would much rather play the 18-year-old rookie that I picked, in the lottery. Which I would have done this already, like, before seeing what Okoro was gonna do recently. But to me, like, if Okoro's not providing anything at all, then there's really no reason why we should be playing him. The only reason why I think the Bulls are going to continue to play him is just because AK is on his BS, and they want to show, like, oh yeah, AK was right, and he made a good trade, and oh yeah, don't worry, we'll get good value out of him, don't worry. But I'm like, I don't really see a reason why to play him if he's not going to play well. He's here to help provide the Bulls wins, like winning plays, and this is not winning basketball from him so far. So it's early. Again, I'm aware it's early. Which is the reason why I'm saying that. I'm not saying, oh, we need to bench Okoro immediately. I'm just saying that if he continues to play this bad, then we got to make a decision here. We can't have a starter showing up every 1 out of 4 games. Okay, so like if he comes in the next game, I'm like, all right, like we're looking better, but opening night you gotta also show up. Okay, because like I can't have you just looking good in the preseason opener and not looking good since then. That's just not gonna cut it. But it also, once again, and I don't want to be doing this, but it once again just makes me just question a lot of what AK is looking at. Because if you already looked at what I tweeted in my video about the trade, I was not a fan of this trade for many reasons. But the thing that really irks me is that this is a guy that Cleveland, a contending level team, decided that we don't think he's really that good to like consistently play. He's coming off the bench for us. Like, he's not starting, and this is a team that needed a small forward for a good portion of their time trying to win, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna bench him. And then suddenly he gets to the Bulls and he's just kind of in the starting lineup already. And I'm just like, one team, and I get it, they're contending, but one team has said that he's just not good enough to start, but yet somehow he's already the starter on this Bulls squad, and it doesn't seem like that's going to change anytime soon. I just don't get it. That's not to say like, oh, like there's clearly a better option, but I think that this Bulls team needs to make it clear that, yeah, you might be starting, but you might not be getting starter level minutes. And it's the guy that I'm looking at is like, he can't be getting starter level minutes if he's continuing to play like this. So unfortunately, I have to say this early, but I'm just underwhelmed, and my expectations for Okoro were low. Like we're talking Okoro, man. Like, I was not expecting anything. I'm thinking for Okoro, man. Like, this guy is just gonna come in and just, all right, good defense. He's gonna he'll hopefully hit a corner 3 every now and then. He should be getting some fast break opportunities, and He should be getting some layups, but like this is not what we need from him. We don't need 4 fouls from you in 9 minutes. We don't need you to only get 1 rebound in 9 minutes. Like, we can't have you shooting 0 for 2 overall from the field on an open layup that you should have made, and you open 3-point look, right? I need you to bring me some value, and he hasn't done it. So just saying with Okoro, man, that I'm gonna be watching him, because I didn't understand the trade, and I'm still not understanding the trade right now. I know the Bulls are trying to be smart about like getting young guys with experience, but I think that the problem with doing that is, if you're getting young guys with experience that have very clearly have shown that they should be coming off the bench for a contending level squad, then I don't know why you're targeting them and thinking that you're going to be able to find a way to like get magic out of them. This whole argument of getting young guys with experience is not looking good, at least early on. We need to do better if we're going to be looking to try to get someone that is like on the bench, but it has clearly untapped potential. This is not it so far. So, this, again, it's early. I'm not like, Okoro should be starting next game. But if this continues into like, late November, and Okoro continues to be disappointing, then like he should not be starting. Hell, I don't even know he should be playing. Obviously, if the Bulls are trying to win every game, then yeah, even if he gets benched, he should be still getting minutes. But for me personally, I'm here just saying that if Okoro's not playing well, then I mean, I'm clearly Terry has not done anything to me that has been said like, yeah, he should be getting minutes consistently. Julian Phillips is out right now. All right, well, Patrick Williams has been probably the best forward besides Buzelis so far in preseason. Then all right, then to me, I'm just like, play Buzelis, play Senge, play Patrick Williams. Then we'll be fine. But I understand that the front office is not in that sort of mode. They want to try to win games. So either way, though, I have questions. I don't know, AK is thinking we won't go anywhere unless the front office gets their shits together. I mean, I agree. But here's the thing, though, Taro. Like, I want to make this clear. The front office thinks that what they're doing, like targeting guys like Isaac Okoro, for example, they think that they're doing the right thing, right? Like, they think that they're smart. They really think that they're hitting like a magic thing that for some reason they think is going to turn into gold. Like, I don't know why. But if I were ever targeting a young player that I think is untapped potential, I wouldn't be targeting a guy that is on his second NBA contract that's going to be 25 this season and has been benched from a team that needed a starting small forward when he plays that same position. That's just personally not the guy I would target. So like, Coral, I'm just asking for more. Defensively, you're disappointing so far. It's early, but yeah, I got to see more from you, man. There are articles written about you that talk about that you're going to bring the intensity on defense, and I haven't seen it. So, we got to see better. I wish there was one thing I could 100% agree with AK on. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what, like, we can even 100% agree on. Like, the problem with, like, the Buzelis picks, for example, is, like, yeah, like, that should have been the pick, but I think a lot of reason why they made the pick was because he's from Chicago area. Like, it's not because they thought, oh, yeah, this guy is good potential or anything. I don't know. It's just something that I'm concerned about for sure. But I guess the one thing that I 100% agree on was the Asenge pick, and that's that's not someone that's like from the Chicago area. But anyway, that's negative person number one we have to talk about. I'm sorry we have to do this, but we have to because it's the 4th game of preseason now. I expect better. We gotta talk about Vooch. I don't know what it's gonna take, honestly, for Billy Donovan to just bench him, but if there's anybody, I have more faith in Vucevic recovering here. But in 3 preseason games that he's played in, because remember he sat out in the second game of preseason here. But in 3 preseason games he's played in, he's also been extremely disappointing. He's looked slow. He's not hitting his 3-point shot. And he's missing like some shots at the rim that looks like he's just losing his touch. Defensively, obviously, he's not going to bring any value, and we've known this since he's gotten here. But if he's not going to bring any value on offensive end, then you might as well just play someone else there so that they can bring at least some value in defensive end. Meanwhile, Zach Collins has been arguably the third best player of the Bulls preseason so far. When he's played, whether you started or come off the bench, he has been a very consistent player and a very solid finisher at the rim. Defensively, he's moved his feet well. I'm not saying he's a great defender by any means, but he's moved his feet well. We've seen the ability to blitz with him when the Bulls are playing defense. He's also been a really nice screen setter so far when I think Vooch has not done that so far. I honestly think that like Collins has been a billion times better than what Vooch has done so far in preseason. Now, here's the thing with Vooch. Because of his vet status and because we have a lot more years to go off of, I have more faith that he'll recover here. However, I think that this is just once again a failure of the front office where I'm like, I don't know why we need Vooch to play well besides hopefully raise his trade value. But he's on the last year of his contract now and got a year older. So I don't think his trade value is going to go up any higher unless he has like an MVP caliber season. So I just don't understand why he's still here. And like, this conversation just bothers me because I feel like we shouldn't be having this conversation now because he should be off the roster already. But the front office decided, no, we're not happy with getting a couple second round picks from the Warriors. Therefore, we're going to keep him and try to raise his trade value more so that we can get more for him next season. And now instead he's here and he's not playing too good. And meanwhile, Zach Collins has played tremendous and, he has to come off the bench because Vooch is still here. Again, if I were coaching this Bull squad, Vooch is not starting. Collins is definitely starting right now. I think there should be no guarantees on this roster. If you're not playing well, then you're sitting. It should just be straight up like that. And Vooch right now has not played well, and I feel like he should not be starting at this current moment in time. But obviously that's not going to happen, and so he will be getting the starting role. But if there's anything that I beg for from Donovan is if Vooch is going to be starting, then he can't be getting 32 minutes a night. Like I beg to be playing Zach Collins more than just 18 minutes or something like that, or 60 minutes a night. Okay, like I'm begging that if Vooch is going to be starting, then Zach Collins is at least getting 24 minutes a night. Because I don't see the value of Vooch right now, unless obviously Vooch starts playing better. So we're going to see what happens here. I've made it very clear, though, on this channel that, yes, last season from Vucevic, the shooting percentages are great, but in his time with the Bulls, he has not been consistent year to year with those shooting percentages. Last season was insane from him from 3-point range. Like that was the best I've ever seen him shoot from 3-point range in the Bulls uniform. The season prior though was dreadful. So I can't rely on this guy to go out and have another 50-40 shooting split season. It's just not something I can rely on. So because of that, I do not have faith he's going to replicate that. And if he's not going to replicate that, then I don't see really the reason why we should be playing him over Zach Collins, who's been much better. It brings a lot more value on both ends of the floor right now. So, just something we just have to just keep watching here. And I'm hoping that Billy Donovan has the ability, with his so-called great relationship with the front office, to say, hey, Vooch has not played well. So, it's been 20 games in. It's been disappointing from him. Can I make a change to the starting lineup here and you guys not be so upset about it? Like, hey, we're trying to win games apparently, and this guy is not playing too well, then okay, we gotta make a switch. I'm gonna hope that the front office is willing to listen to him, but I don't know. I'm really not sure how the politics work with this Bulls front office right now. If they really like Billy, then I hope that they respect his opinion on things. But we'll see. Again, it's early. We haven't played a game yet, but I'm just concerned with how I'm seeing some things. This reminds me of the first full season with Vooch. So it was the year after we traded for him, and Vooch could not hit a 3 in preseason for his life. And at that time I was like, I'm not too worried about it because he was having a great year last season shooting from 3-point range. Like I'm not too worried about it at all. And then he goes on to shoot like 31% from 3-point range for the entire season. That's why I'm scared, because it's just history has shown that when Vooch has not played well in preseason, then come regular season he has not played well. So I'm just concerned about it. Well, obviously, we're not going to be jumping to let's make a starting lineup change after 4 preseason games, but they're definitely just something just to keep an eye on here. of like, all right, you haven't played well in preseason, so regular season comes along, then I have to have a shorter leash on you if I was coaching, at least. But we'll see. Again, this is just my overall opinions on what I would be personally doing right now. I'm sure everyone has their differences when it comes to their opinions, but we will see. All right. Shout out to Javon Carter for having a better game than last game, which is a low bar, but 17 points tonight. He kind of got going a little bit, so shout out to him. He was 4 for 17 last game, so shout out to him for playing better. I still really don't want to really see him out there unless we're playing the Atlanta Hawks, but I appreciate the better effort from him tonight. Very clearly he's playing better than some other people, so we'll take it, obviously. Patrick Williams, I won't lie, I'm not like exactly like, jumping out of my chair with joy with him, but I appreciate what he's sort of done here. It's much better than what Okoro's done so far in preseason, which is, I hate saying that, but it is just kind of the results. But the thing that P. Will is doing that I'm happy to see is that he's launching that 3-point shot, it seems like, with like no hesitation. And that is something that with Patrick Williams that was just killing me with him. But like we're even seeing him take some pull-up threes in transition. And while I don't love the shot, if there's ever a shot that I'd rather Patrick Williams shoot, it is a 3-point shot, because just percentages wise, he's just better from there. I'd much rather him shoot than try to go to the basket. So if he's just willing to shoot the 3-point shot, I'll take it. Like I'll be completely fine with it. But once again, the biggest thing for me though is that he's just taking it with like no hesitation. Patrick has always been part of the catch and think club for me. He's been by far the biggest culprit of it. Like he is, if there's a president of that club, it is Patrick Williams, the catch and think club. But so far in preseason, he has not shown too much of it, and that needs to continue. So no more catch and think from Patrick Williams will be a great sign. I'll take that development, even though it won't show up in the box score or anything. But yeah, that's something that I'll gladly take, and so hopefully that continues for him. Just shoot the 3-point shot with no hesitation, and I'll be all right. 2 for 5 tonight, which is good. Needs to rebound more, but we'll wait on those results until later. I'll be fine. Terry had an all right game towards the end of the game, but to me it's really nothing. He really didn't do anything when the main guys are out there. So I'm just not to really talk about for him, at least in my opinion. Once again, I think Zach Collins was good. I talked about when we were talking about Vooch here, but Collins just continues to look really good. Just both ends of the floor, it looks better. He's cutting within the offense. He's moving within the offense. He's setting better screens in the offense. He's also been the better passer between him and Vucevic, and Vucevic is supposed to be a better passer. Like, the part that really bothers me is just that, like, we've seen really only a few good passes from Vooch in preseason, but Zach Collins has consistently found back cutters in preseason. So, and it's been on the money. Like, we saw Vucevic have 2 terrible passes to cutters in today's game. That's really frustrating to watch, because I expect Vucevic just to be the better passer. And so I don't really know. I mean, I guess he had 4 assists tonight. I don't really know how many of those were just off handoffs, but I just expect better from Vooch. So 5 turnovers from him tonight. That just is disgusting. Yeah, once again, better from Collins. I hope that he would be starting right now, but I guess it won't happen. All right, we gotta finish up the negative aspects of tonight's game, with just once again the defense. And I'm sorry to just be talking about this constantly, but once again, the coaching staff brought up physicality on defense. The front office brought up physicality. All right, well, I gotta be seeing better, because this is not it. So if my memory serves me right, I believe the Denver Nuggets had 48 points in the paint at the end of the third quarter. I could be wrong, but either way, though, you still give up 54 points in the paint tonight. The Nuggets are not a good 3-point shooting team overall. They don't take a lot of threes. I think they drain a decent amount, but they don't take a lot. So the 3-point shot was not killing the Bulls tonight. Okay, I mean, the Denver Nuggets were 9-33, and it's 27%. Like, yeah, that's fine. What was killing the Bulls tonight was the drives to the basket that were easily given up, the fouling 3-point shooters that the Bulls did so many times tonight, but then just in general, just fouling because we're not ready defensively. And it bothers the crap out of me, because it's simple things like fouling a three-point shooter should not happen. Okay, I don't care how bad of a defensive team you are, that just should not happen. Switching, right, it should be something that every team in the NBA should be doing. Okay, you could be the 30th ranked defensive squad in the NBA, but switching on defense should be simple. But we're not doing that right now. Okay, if there's a rip screen for Aaron Gordon, okay, then we should be defending that properly by switching, especially if Dalen Terry is guarding the guy that is setting the screen. Instead, though, we get absolutely killed on the screen, we don't communicate, and Aaron Gordon gets an alley-oop dunk out of it. Should not happen. I'm sorry, it just shouldn't happen. And all of that led to, not the greatest shooting night from Denver, but I think they could have shot a hell of a lot better tonight if they wanted to. But 41 free throws tonight. A bunch of fouls called, but a lot of them were because of the Bulls. Okay, Bulls had 32 fouls. It just is unacceptable levels of defense tonight, and I hate to be bringing it up and talking about it, but we will unfortunately be doing more video review of this. All right, sorry, hold on, I'm pulling up my video. I'm only gonna do a few because I am aware of how boring sometimes video, especially on the defensive end, can be, or doing film breakdown stuff. But I have to show a few things here because there's just too many things today that I was just like, what are we doing, guys? Like, this just can't continue. Hold on. All right, notes are coming out here for this stream. All right. All right, get ready. Get ready for some bad stuff. I'm sorry, but we got to do it. I can't go through the stream without addressing the terrible defense, and showing what exactly I mean. Which, by the way, I just want to make this clear. I do watch games. There's some people that are, they're just being stupid about you're calling me a box score watcher. I'm watching these games, okay? I don't know what else I need to show you to be like, oh, you're not watching these games. I'm like, brother, if you're gonna tell me that you don't, that you think that I don't watch these games, then I dare you to go and do your own stream, please. Okay, go do your own stream and do your own film breakdown, for the love of God. All right, I can't stand it when I get these sort of comments to me. There's comments like criticism that's like, yeah, I get it. If you think that my take on things is wrong, all right, that's fair. That is your opinion, and I respect the hell out of your opinion. Okay. If you back up your opinion with it, I'll give you my opinion with my arguments, but if you're gonna back up your opinion with arguments, sure, that's your opinion at the end of the day. But the one thing that I will not stand, okay, is when people tell me that I'm not watching the games or claim that I'm not watching these games, and yet I'm on here doing film breakdown on my streams, okay? And meanwhile, these people are, they don't have much of, they're not really doing anything. They're not doing their own streams or showing consistently that they're watching the games. Okay, it just bothers the crap out of me. So once again, I want to just point out that I do watch these games, for the love of God. Okay, and that's not me flexing. That's not me saying I'm better than anybody. That's just me saying that, listen, okay, I'm here for any criticism of my opinion and my take on things, but to say that I don't watch games, I just lose all respect. Once again, I'm here doing film breakdown, for the love of God. All right, first play here. I want to show this because it's just a prime example where the Bulls are just failing on their switching tonight. Okay. I'm gonna be pausing a lot just to try to avoid copyright, which I probably won't, but it is what it is. All right, let's just watch this play. Okay. Buzelis is on Jamal Murray, and I don't really know why the Bulls were running this sort of defensive coverage, but it is what it is. But we're just gonna watch this action. Okay. Sorry, never mind. This is not what I'm looking for. It's the next part here. Keep rolling. All right. Either way, though, it is still important because Buzelis will be on Jamal Murray on this play. Okay. And so he ends up on Jamal Murray here. Let me actually rewind this. This is a switch, okay? Like, this is a switch. This is a switch for the Bulls. And watch, okay? This right here is what's bothering the crap out of me. So now Dalen Terry's on Murray, which I think is better, right? And so Christian Braun, okay, comes up and sets a little down screen here. This is zoom action, okay? This is, we know this action from the Bulls. The Bulls do this all the time, okay? But this is zoom action where Brown's gonna come over and set a screen for Jamal Murray to come up and get the ball from Jokic off the handoff, okay? But if you're the Bulls, okay, like, you're supposed to switch this. This has been a switch all preseason long, and Buzelis here for the Bulls is late on the switch. He is way too late on the switch. He thinks that he should continue guarding Brown off the screen, but he doesn't. Watch, okay? Terry goes with Brown. Buzelis thinks, oh, I'm going to stick with Brown. But that leaves no one on Jamal Murray, and so the Bulls fail to switch. Right now, Buzelis should be trailing Murray, or right next to Murray, and so because of this little slight hesitation or mess up by the Bulls, the lack of communication, whatever you want to call it here, okay? Now Buzelis is late, and so now Jamal Murray has a lot of space now off of Buzelis, who's now the main defender on him, right? And so Buzelis is heavily trailing Jamal Murray on this action. Here comes the double screen, okay, off the zoom action here. And so now, again, Buzelis is way far behind. Hence then why Murray is able to go ahead and drive and get the step on him, get to the basket and get the foul, okay? This is terrible defense because the Bulls failed to switch, okay? We can't have this if you're the Bulls, okay? You cannot be late on a switch like this if you're Buzelis. So whether it's Dalen Terry failing to yell out switch, or whether it's Matas Buzelis failing to recognize that it's supposed to be a switch, okay? I don't care what it is. This has to get fixed, okay? Like, people want to say, oh, where's the help or anything? The reason why this is bad defense is not because of where's the help. It's because, oh, wait, the Bulls failed to switch on this possession. And it's a simple switch, right? It's nothing hard. This is simple stuff here for the Bulls. And yet we're failing to do so. It's the fourth game of preseason, right? I'm baffled by it, okay? So if you're wondering, there is a part in the middle of this third quarter, and it starts here, where the Bulls had 3 terrible defensive possessions in a row, right? And we're gonna show all 3 of them right here, and then I'll end the film breakdown segment because I know that some people get bored of this. But all right, next play, okay? So pay attention who's on everybody, okay? Dalen Terry is on Jamal Murray. Patrick Williams is guarding Aaron Gordon, all right? Let's watch this, okay? This is, if you keep hearing me reference the alley-oop back cut for Aaron Gordon for a dunk, this is the play, okay? It's simple horn set, right? Top of the key, you got 2 people at the elbow, you got 2 people at the corner, okay? It's simple horn set, okay? Now, watch as this ball is thrown into Jokic, okay? Watch what's gonna happen here. So you can argue it's split action. I argue more that this is a rip screen from what Jamal Murray's about to do here, but you can argue whatever it is, right? But either way, though, Dalen Terry and Patrick Williams are similar enough in size that you can switch this effectively. Like, I would be totally fine if I put Patrick Williams on Jamal Murray, okay, to prevent a simple back cut to the basket, right, and put your defense in disarray. But here, right, we see this on this possession here. I don't know what the hell happened, okay, but the Bulls just decide not to switch this. So here's the screen by Murray, okay? And whatever you want to call this, whether it's a back screen, rip screen, split cut, split action, whatever, okay? Either way though, Dalen Terry, you're watching the ball and you still have your arms on Jamal Murray here, but meanwhile, Patrick Williams got completely cut off by this screen, and Aaron Gordon has a wide open cut to the basket right now. And then you get this. So, to me, at least, and this is just from me looking on the outside in, I'm not in the Bulls coaching staff, right? But to me, that should just be a simple switch. If you simply just switch this, Dalen Terry takes Aaron Gordon, Patrick Williams stays on Jamal Murray, then this alley-oop dunk for Aaron Gordon doesn't happen. However, maybe this was played correctly, and Josh Giddey here, because he's playing weak side, is supposed to be the one to come on over and tag on Eric Gordon to make sure he doesn't get this wide open alley-oop dunk. Maybe that's the play. I'm not sure. But either way, though, something needs to be addressed here, okay? Either way, it's terrible defense, and this just cannot happen, right? But, so, again, whether it's supposed to be that these guys are supposed to switch here, Terry's supposed to be on Gordon, P.O.'s supposed to be on Murray now, or it's supposed to be that Giddey's supposed to come on over to prevent this from happening. I don't care which one it is, right? It's simple stuff then. Either way, it's simple things. This is a simple rotation or a simple switch, and the Bulls fail to do so. I don't know what it is. Figure it out, though, if you're Billy Donovan and co. This just cannot happen. I'm pissed off. Like, look at the shot clock. It's 60. It's 8 seconds off the shot clock, and this is happening right now. I'm just lost. I cannot understand why this is happening at this early in this possession. But anyway, we're gonna move on from this play. Okay, next play. All right, we're gonna see another terrible defensive possession by the Bulls for God knows what reason. All right, how many times have I talked about the Bulls the Bulls defense is that you should not be letting them reject the screen if you're guarding the ball handler, right? It's important for the Bulls defenders to make sure that they take the ball handler or force the ball handler to take the screen, right? So let's watch this play. So as you're gonna see here, you're gonna see Dalen Terry and Jamal Murray, or Dalen Terry guarding Jamal Murray and Montes Buzelis guarding Christian Brown, right? So there's a simple 1-2 pick and roll or screen here, okay? And the Bulls switch it. Look at that. They did a switch properly, finally, for the love of God. They performed a successful switch. Look at that, guys. We should all give a round of applause because this did not happen enough tonight. Anyway, if you're a Montes Buzelis, okay, you gotta understand what the defensive coverage is. Vucevic is over here, right? And this entire time, when it comes to this defensive coverage, you need to make sure that you force Murray to take the screen because Vucevic is going to meet him at the other end, right? He's going to meet him over here. But the last thing that you want to have happen is to let Murray go this way, right? And then you're forcing then your defense to heavily rotate, and then it opens up these shooters, right? Because someone has to come over and help. But your help, though, on this pick and roll coverage is Vucevic, okay? And Buzelis messes up here by letting Murray get the step on him and letting him go this way, rejecting the screen, okay? Vucevic is nowhere near to help on this, okay? It's like, this is not Vucevic's fault, right? I know a lot of people want to blame Vuce, but this is not Vucevic's fault. This is Buzelis' fault, okay? And now, all of a sudden, Patrick Williams has to come over and help, but it's too late at this point. You let Murray get a step, it is way too late, okay? Your help is always where Vuce is, and he's always going to be acting as if that player takes the screen. If you're a Buzelis, man, you need to do everything in your willpower to force Murray to go this way and take the screen with Jokic, okay? And you didn't do that, and so it's too late at this point. You don't have any rim protector near the basket. You get the foul, right? Like, you're forced to foul, right? Like, this is typical stuff. This is simple, and I'm watching this and I'm losing my mind. I just can't stand what I'm seeing right now. So, those are three things. Like, I can show you more, like, very simply, like, not fouling a three-point shooter, and there's other switches that were not actively done well tonight, but these are just simple things, at least in my opinion. Again, I don't expect this Bulls team to be to be good on defense, but I also don't expect them to be absolutely horrific, which is what we saw tonight, all right? Like, I expect them to at least give some effort, and I'm not seeing the effort right now from this Bulls squad, and I'm seeing mistakes happen on simple things. We're talking simple actions for the Bulls, okay? Simple defensive coverages, simple defensive assignments. And I'm lost at what we're seeing here. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen here moving forward to see if this team's defense can get better. I have been adamant that I am very much aware that this team, I do not think is going to be a good defensive team. And a big reason why is because I don't think they have the personnel to do so, right? I think the amount of good defenders on this team is limited. Your good offensive players are not good defenders. So I really don't expect this team to suddenly just be great defensively or anything like that. I don't expect them to do anything good. I also don't expect this team to suddenly, be at the top of the league in deflections or anything like that. They were one of the worst teams in deflections last season, and with the personnel, with the lack of wingspan, we're getting more of that. Like, we're getting more more wingspan length. We're getting more length overall. But even with that being said, I still think that this Bulls team is gonna struggle defensively. For this team to be better defensively consistently, they're gonna have to go out and get better defenders that have been proven and shown consistency on that end of the floor. But obviously they didn't do that this offseason, right? Okoro, in theory, should be, but I've talked about how much that I don't really think that he's that great of a defender. I think that he can be good at moments, but I don't really think that he's like some otherworldly defender coming into this squad. So either way, though, the defense can't only be on one guy, right? It can't only be on Okoro. I've shown 3 plays here, and none of them involve Okoro, and Okoro can't suddenly just come on in and save the defense when he's on the bench, right? The defense has to get better from everyone here, and especially from the guys that actually have the good wingspan, that have the length and athleticism to be good defenders. So I'm sorry for being so ridiculous, like adamant and like calling out the ridiculous defense right now, but I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. I expect bad defense. I don't expect this level of bad defense. I expect at least some effort. I'm seeing very little effort right now on an offensive end. I am very much aware the Nuggets are hard to guard. Jokic is one of the best players we've ever seen, okay? But we were fouling 3-point shooters that are not Jokic. We were fouling guys that are not named Jokic. We were fouling guys not named Murray tonight, okay? We should know the scouting reports on guys like Cam Johnson and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Bruce Brown, okay? The Bulls, I don't know if you guys heard it in during the broadcast, but like the Bulls were yelling go under on multiple guys, like Peyton Watson, for example, and we just kept seeing the Bulls defenders still go over the screen for whatever reason. And I'm just lost at why they were doing such a thing. So I don't know if it's just a lock-in thing. Like maybe the Bulls actually have worked on a lot of things, but they just aren't locked in. But either way, though, the coaching staff needs to get more defensive out of these guys defensively. They just have to get more. Don't know what's going to take, but Billy Donovan has a lot to work on before the season starts here. So that's that. Thank you for film breakdowns, bro. Don't think others are as in-depth. I really do appreciate that, Taro. Like, that sort of comment does mean a lot. I truly am trying my best to be doing a lot of these breakdowns this season. I was hoping not to be doing this many defensive breakdowns because I know this team's gonna not be good defensively. But with what I'm seeing, like, I'm just like, bro, like we have to be better than this, right? Like, I think that last season was better defensively at the start of the season, and you know that's when people like were, that's with Levine out there, man. Like we don't even have Kobe White right now out there, and I know Kobe's not a good defender. So I don't know what that says about this team, but like Kobe White hasn't played, and I'm looking at this defense, and I'm just like, God Almighty, I want to gouge my eyes out sometimes with watching this defense. So I don't expect Kobe to come in and save the defense. It'd be funny if he somehow does, but I unfortunately don't expect him to come in and just become, a great defender and, suddenly be our best perimeter defender or something. But I don't know, man. I'm scared. I'm scared for what's to come moving forward right now. But yeah, I promise more offensive breakdowns moving forward, but to me, this is what had to be addressed in these past 2 games. The defense had to be addressed in these past 2 games. And I sincerely apologize, but yeah, I sincerely appreciate the comment and the support, Taro King. You've been in my support camp for a long time now, so I sincerely appreciate it. But yeah, I'll be doing more. I hope people enjoy it. Hope people learn and everything. I sincerely appreciate the support on it because I enjoy doing this a lot. But yeah, we'll continue doing more. All right, just to end this off on a good note and something that I appreciate with what I saw on this specific play here. I will be showing one good offensive play that I appreciate here. That I think is honestly interesting to look at because we talked about a little bit earlier how I think Buzelis deserves some more on-ball actions. Okay, with what he did, with what he's done in preseason so far, I think Buzelis has at least proven enough to me that he deserves some more on-ball opportunities come the start of regular season. And especially with Kobe being on a minutes restriction, which we'll talk about him next year. But there's certain actions though with Buzelis that I was looking at. Like, for example, the first play of the game, right? Like he had a pick and roll with Vucevic and he scored with his left hand, right? That's great. That's a great sign from him. But there's also then some actions with him that I'm looking at with the Bulls that I'm like, hey, like I like what I'm kind of seeing here, and I hope to see some more of these sort of actions when it comes to Buzelis. And if Kobe's gonna be out, like, or not playing as much, the Bulls are gonna have to rely on Buzelis a little bit more. And so let's just watch this play here that I think is a nice play from Donovan to kind of get Buzelis into a good spot to potentially score. So this is kind of it's shaded, or like it's a facade of a Horns action, right? Because like Jalen Smith here was kind of like, he was here, like Jalen Smith was like up here, and like you see him like move, right? And so you're kind of thinking, oh, it's a Horn set. It's not though, right? And so you're gonna see Buzelis is actually gonna just get the ball here at the elbow, right? And we've seen with the Bulls, especially with Giddey here, like there's gonna be like a lot of action off this, so we gotta always be worried about the cuts. We gotta be worried about the down screens, right? The away actions. And so what this does though is that it puts a lot of pressure on the defense all of a sudden, because what you're gonna see here is that you're gonna see Jalen Smith is gonna go this way, and Zach Collins is gonna come over and set a screen to try to maybe free him up a little bit, right? And so let's just play this, right? Here's this little screen. Jalen Smith's going to the corner. Zach Collins set the screen here, right? And so this is potentially an option because Jalen Smith can hit the 3-point shot, right? And so Buzelis could just throw it here. What this also does though is that, as you can see, it is occupying these two defenders, right? And these are the two bigs. So these are potentially the shot blockers. And so what the Bulls are trying to do with this sort of action is, especially if this is covered, you're just trying to occupy these defenders, because now this lets Buzelis really get an opportunity to go this way, right? Because now Aaron Gordon is completely occupied, right? And so you're going to see him, he decides to do a reverse pivot and faces up on Cam Johnson, who I think Buzelis would say would have the speed advantage over Cam Johnson, even though he's like a decent defender. And Buzelis decides to try to go ahead and go to his right, and try to gets a step on him and tries to go up for a shot. He misses, right? But that's a play though that I'm looking at. I'm like, hey, like that's a nice play. Like you were able to get the spacing right on an ISO for Buzelis at the elbow, okay? And he was able to go ahead and get the step on Cam Johnson, who again is like a pretty decent defender overall. He has definitely the length for it, and he goes up, and I think that's a pretty makeable shot for him. Like, he's been making those sorts of shots all preseason long. But the biggest thing for me though is that Buzelis got the step. Like, let's just watch this play again in real time, right? So again, it looks like a horn set. Like, Smith is up here near the elbow, he moves, right? And Buzelis is just a straight ISO. And so he's rise to the basket, and I think that's a pretty makeable look here. He just happens to miss it, but he got the step up Cam Johnson, and that's the more important thing. So that is definitely something that I hope to see kind of more of. These sort of sets that I think like a lot of people don't really always recognize. Like, Nicholas Alexander, for example, is one of the best isolation players in the league, but I don't think people always recognize what the Thunder are doing to try to make sure that the help defenders around Shea are kind of occupied to allow him to have the space to operate. Because then if Shea just at any point gets to like the middle of the court, like kind of where Buzelis was, if Shea's like here, like the defense is on absolute a high alert, because they're super afraid of what Shea could potentially do here. So it is something that I'm looking to see if the Bulls can find ways to implement into their offense, especially with a guy like Buzelis, who has shown recently the ability to get the first step quickness over guys like Mobley, like Giannis, right? And get that first step and have the advantage to potentially just go ahead and drive or draw a foul or finish at the rim. So it is something that I want to see more from the Bulls. They didn't really isolate a lot last season, unless it was Levine, who was one of the best ISO scorers in the league last season. So I understand a lot of people hate ISO, but it is still an effective play, very effective play. And if Buzelis has these triple threat moves, then I don't see really a reason why we should not use it, honestly. I'd be looking to go to it as much as we can. So, yeah, let's see if the Bulls can find ways to implement more of these into their offense, get Buzelis some of these opportunities with the ball, and get him some one-on-one looks where he can drive to the basket and finish. But just want to end it on a good on the offensive end. There's still some good stuff on the Bulls offense that I won't be talking about in today's stream. There was definitely some disjointed moments for sure, but there was some good stuff, especially when it comes to Buzelis, what we saw from Giddey today and what we saw from Io today. Those three for sure are like, at least recently, they've been really good on offense. But I think Buzelis and Io through all four preseason games, excuse me, they've been very, very good on the offensive end. And I hope that continues into the regular season here. I'm looking forward to seeing how it translates into the regular season. But all right, with that being said, though, like I said earlier in the stream, this is gonna be a shorter stream, so I did go past an hour, so I'm happy with myself. But it's almost midnight, so we gotta make this shorter. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning into this post-game stream. It's a little bit later, obviously, because the game was in Denver. So I sincerely do appreciate all of you tuning into this Bulls post-game stream. It is late though, obviously, so I understand if you weren't able to watch too much of it live. But if you have not already hit the like button on the stream, please go ahead and do so. It helps me out a ton. If you're new to the Bulls, new to this channel, like Bulls content, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And once again, if you have not read my recent article on Kobe White on OnTop Sportsnet, the link to that article is right there. So please go ahead and check it out if you have not done so already. I sincerely do appreciate everyone tuning in, though. To briefly just go ahead and look at our next game, the Bulls will be playing at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Thursday. So this is the last preseason game. It is the typical time, so it starts at 7 p.m. So post game will be here at around 9:30 p.m. Central Time. So I thought personally that, and I was completely wrong, I thought maybe the Bulls might rest almost everybody in this one, and like a lot of the starters wouldn't play in tonight's game. Excuse me, but obviously everyone played that was available, so I was clearly wrong on that. But I'd be kind of shocked if Billy just decides to rest everybody in this one instead. But I guess there is a world where they're just like being extra cautious with all the starters. But I personally wouldn't do it, so I expect everyone to play in this one. But I am definitely interested to see what's going to happen, who is going to be playing. Speaking of which, though, I forgot to talk about Kobe White, so we'll talk about that before we end the stream here. But so reminder, no Trey Jones in this one, as we found out from Casey Johnson here that he was not. He was held out of practice on Monday because he jammed his foot. So Trey Jones missed tonight's game. We'll see if he's gonna be available for Thursday's game. But now I'm also just kind of concerned about, like, is he gonna be available for the regular season? So that'll be a thing to watch here with Trey Jones. If I remember correctly, the reason why he had to be out for the end of the season last season was because of a foot issue as well. So I hope it's not the same foot that's giving him some problems, but we'll see. Jamming your foot does not sound fun, so I hope that's not a serious issue for him. Kevin Huerter did more on Monday's practice and is trending towards playing in preseason on Thursday. So I hope to see Kevin Huerter on Thursday against the Minnesota Timberwolves here. The Bulls could desperately use his three-point shooting, as the Bulls have really sucked from three-point range the last two games here. Julian Phillips continues to be out, and that is honestly a really big story because he's fighting for rotation minutes right now, and to suddenly like not be playing in preseason and trying to fight for a rotation spot is pretty big. Julian Phillips was one of the first guys off the bench in that first preseason game against the Cavs, and we have not seen him since. So I'm definitely concerned about him. I would really like to see him, but I doubt he's gonna be playing in that last preseason game on Thursday. So I guess we'll see if we get to see him on an opening night here against the Detroit Pistons. So we'll see about him, but he is also out. It seems like for the last preseason game. So we'll see about Trey Jones. We'll also see about Kevin Huerter, but I'm hoping to see him. It seems like he's most likely to play out of these three guys. But Julian Phillips seems like he's going to be out, so that is just a bit disappointing overall. But nagging injuries in preseason for the Bulls, it has definitely sucked to have seen that. Now, to go back though to Coby White, I forgot to talk about this before I ended stream. So this is what was released from Billy Donovan on Monday, so yesterday. So Coby White playing. I was really hoping, and it seemed like the Bulls were really hoping that Coby White will be playing on Thursday. But now it seems like the plan, or I think it's actually confirmed now, that he will not be playing in preseason at all. So unless some miracle happens, which I doubt, do not expect to see Coby White on Thursday in the last preseason game here. So, but what I do expect is I do expect Coby to be playing on opening night. If he's held out opening night, then it is definitely really disappointing. But I wanted to see him in preseason just to like knock off some rust, to kind of get him into a little bit more game shape before we head into the regular season. But clearly that's not going to happen. Once again, just to point this out on this channel, if we're not aware, I always think that there is definitely a difference between game shape and just being in shape. Like the conditioning is just different. You can play 5-on-5 scrimmages. I don't care how much you play, but there is nothing that will ever replicate a game. So I don't care how much you scrimmage, 5-on-5, full contact and everything, but there's just nothing that can ever get you into game shape except for playing in a game. So for Coby, I was really hoping that he would get like a little bit of run on Thursday to just like, let's just say 12 minutes, right? Like those 12 minutes, at least in my opinion, would actually really help him kind of get his win back, because it's the only time he's seen gameplay since last season. So I was hoping for that, but clearly it's not going to happen. But we were then also told in the broadcast on Sunday, but then we've been hearing it from Casey Johnson since, that Coby's probably gonna be on a minutes restriction to start the season, and that's not shocking, just because he hasn't played in any preseason games. It's gonna be tough on him to like go out and just play a full 36-minute game on the first day of the season, right? So I'm not shocked at that at all. However, with how this Bulls offense is, especially how it's looked recently and how it's looked tonight, it is kind of big, because I do think Coby on offense is kind of a big key part of this Bulls offense right now. So that's the reason why we would talk about Buzelis getting some more on-ball reps and him being like a secondary ball handler at all times for the Bulls, because Kobe's not out there. So we're gonna have to see this and how it's gonna look in the regular season for the Bulls here. But my biggest thing, though, I just want to make this clear. If Coby does not feel 100% with his calf, do not play. I always trust the players when it comes to their injuries. I know that some people want to say, oh, they're faking it, oh, they're being careful for money or anything like that. I never go down that route. I usually always just trust players at all times, because the last thing I want to do is trust this Bulls training staff, because the Bulls medical staff in more recent history has not been great. So I personally am not ever gonna try to trust any sort of rumors that, oh, like this player isn't playing due to like they just don't want to play, but they're not really injured. I always trust the player. So for Coby specifically, because it is a calf issue, I am very adamant that he needs to feel 100% with that calf before he even tries to play in a regular game. So if that means he has to miss the first week of the regular season, then he has to miss the first week of the regular season. That's fine. If that means he's gonna have to be in a minutes restriction for the first 2 weeks of the regular season, then that's fine. That's totally fine. The last thing I want to see from Coby White is for him to suddenly tear his Achilles because he was not 100% ready to come back. So want to make that clear. Like, I want to see Coby obviously play, and I think it's pretty big that he does play, but I do not want him playing if he's not 100%. So please, no matter what with Coby, just like no speculation, just like he just needs to get back to 100% and he'll be fine. But yeah, I'm hoping for some good news though from Coby and for some of these other people with injuries, because there's definitely been some nagging injuries throughout training camp into preseason, and I don't want to see any more of it before we get into the regular season here. But We will see what exactly the plan is for Kobe White when we start approaching the regular season opening night for us. So looking forward to it. But I'm just looking forward just to seeing how Kobe plays. My article explains why a lot. But yeah, I'm just hoping. I just want to see him play, and hopefully he plays well. But first things first, he's gotta get healthy. But it's not a setback according to Casey Johnson. Like he said on the Fast Break today on Chicago Sports Network that this is not a setback, but to me this is a setback. I'm just hoping for not another setback, because the last thing like I want to see is that he's gonna be out for like another 2 weeks or something like that. But it could happen, and if he has to take those 2 weeks, fine. Get 100% before you start trying to play in a regular season game for Kobe. Once again though, we'll be back here on Thursday for post game to watch the Bulls take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I hope everyone's playing in this one, and I hope to see Anthony Edwards and co playing in this one as well. I think these are kind of some good gauges to kind of see where the Bulls defense is and also the Bulls offense. Yeah, I'm hoping we get to see this, but we'll see who's actually be available for this game and who's not. I wouldn't be shocked if the Timberwolves just don't play any of their regulars because they know who they got already. But if you're the Bulls, then I hope to really be seeing everyone that's healthy. I would like to see everyone play that is able to play. Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Again, 7 p.m. Central Time is the game. 9:30 p.m. will be post game. Yeah, come on back for Bulls post game on this channel after this game ends. I hope to see you guys there. But with that being said, though, I sincerely, once again, want to thank you all for tuning into Bulls post game throughout this entire preseason. We will be doing it into the regular season here, so please do not go anywhere. Please always come back for Bulls post game streams on this channel once the regular season starts up here. I want to say thank you guys so much for all the support throughout the start of this season. I sincerely do appreciate all of it. Please hit the like button on the stream if you have not already, whether you're watching right now or watching the VOD. Helps me out a ton. I sincerely appreciate all the likes on the recent streams. Recent streams have been good, man. I've loved all the recent streams. I've had a good time. I hope everyone else has had a good time. But I've really liked the recent streams and how the quality is and what we're doing on them. So I hope to continue those into the regular season. And so hope it's going to continue being a good time with everyone here. Please subscribe if you like Bulls content. I'll be doing Bulls content throughout the entire season, so please go ahead and subscribe. And once again, if you have not read my my latest article for On Tap Sportsnet, it is the last chat message, so please go ahead and read that if you have not done so already. But with that being said, though, I'll be heading out here because it is, I think, officially midnight now. It is late. It's a weeknight, so it is definitely late, though. This is what happens with West Coast games, but obviously we gotta still continue to cover the Bulls here. With that being said, though, I'll be seeing you guys on Thursday when the Bulls take on the Minnesota Timberwolves here, and I hope that everyone's gonna be able to play in this one. And I hope the defense is better. That's all I'm just gonna ask for. I just hope the defense is better. That will be the main thing I'll obviously be watching. But with that being said, I'll see you on Thursday. Peace out. Be safe. Have a good night.